My Hero's Chapter 335 translations have been released, and it reveals a huge plot hole that we've been wanting to know for a while now, and that is about the UA Traitor. However, I believe that there may be someone who has known who the UA Traitor is for a while now, and has even tried to give us a hint about it, and that person is Aoyama. Now in this chapter, at the end we get a reveal that Toru, or Invisible Girl, was the traitor, or at the very least involved with the traitor situation the whole time. There's no denying that. The final panel zooms in on a silhouette of her and even says, "Is the traitor really age ... implying Toru. And her being a traitor or involved with the traitor makes sense. She has been suspicious on several occasions, including multiple parts at the USJ incident that doesn't add up, and the training camp info getting leaked, but that's not what this is about." Aoyama has always been an odd duck, really. He's really weird and flashy in how he does anything, and on the surface that's all he seems to be. However, I believe there's much more to him than his flashiness and the occasional French reference. For example, during the midterm exam arc, Aoyama and Uraka are on the same team against the hero 13. They are both on the ropes with 13 sucking them up. Uraka tries thinking of a way out of the situation, thinking to herself, what would Deku do in this situation? Aoyama then turns to her, calls her out and says, "Were you just thinking what Midoriya Izuku would do?" So obviously, he pays attention to his surroundings and notices that Uraka likes Deku, which is pretty obvious anyways, but outside of Mina, everyone else is pretty clueless on the matter, so I'd say Aoyama gets a point for being observant here. What does this have to do with the traitor though? I think this example I just gave just shows there is much more going on inside his head than meets the eye. He's assessing other people's situations, like Deku and how he's like him, for them both having quirks that are unfit for their bodies. Now what if he somehow found out Toru was the traitor? Maybe he saw her turn out of being invisible or giving away information to All For One. Out of fear, he may have been sworn to secrecy and may be colluding with Toru now, even possibly. I mean, they went to the same work study, meaning they could collaborate much easier then. There's artwork Horikoshi put on display at an art expo, and it was very peculiar. One of them featured Aoyama with a giant eye watching him from behind him from a wall. Maybe this could symbolize All For One or Toru watching Aoyama carefully to make sure he does what he's told and not to spill the beans. But really, what evidence do I have to back up the claim that he's being watched? I do have something semi-concrete. So going back to when Deku and Aoyama were talking about how their quirks weren't compatible with their bodies. Right before then, Aoyama with his laser tries writing something into the concrete in front of him. What he writes into the block of concrete is in French, but when translated it means "still waters run deep." I think this alludes to him not trying to say anything aloud, but trying to mean watch your back, as someone here is hiding in plain sight as the traitor and he knows it. The face he makes after the conversation is very ominous as well, like he's hiding information. Though it may just be leading into the poop joke that comes like 2 panels later. A chapter earlier, in the middle of the night on Midoriya's balcony, he used cheese to spell out the words "I know," which could also allude to him knowing the traitor. When Midoriya confronted him about it, he just said it had to do with him being similar with their quirks not working right. But if he's being watched, he obviously can't talk about the traitor aloud. That clue he gave on the rock is probably the best he could do at the time. He either made that up on the spot about their quirks not being compatible, or had a backup plan in mind if Midoriya brought it up. Aoyama knows Toru is the traitor, and is either too scared to tell anyone since he's being watched, is also a traitor, or has tried a couple of other times but is too obscure like in the situation I just described. Definitely watch out for this duo though. 336 is gonna bring some heat in this whole traitor deal. I just hope there's more to it than Toru only being the traitor and that's all we get. But who knows, we'll see. Thanks for watching.